Let me show you something real quick. Now, you see this bill right here, the dollar bill. So you see, we're first gonna talk about the bird. This next part is very important to the whole ties. I hope you guys are understanding. So listen closely. Gonna be about Nipsey Hussle turning immortal.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Pull up in a ride, yeah, painted with some decals. I ain't never stopped, can't be trusting any females. Got a shorty blog, had her texting through the email. Walking right on top, I won't fall, that's a detail. You can call me.
Hello there, beautiful people. Now, yes, it is time. I've told you about this beautiful series going on, and it is week 2. And you know what week 2 is? It's conspiracy theories. Everybody love us some nice, great conspiracy theory. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This one threw me out the ballpark. And because of the fact that I did research on this one, and it's not just like a Mandela effect, you know, Curious George and his no tail. It's not like this is some shit. Y'all gonna be like, what? And today, that simple topic is talking about, it's always a good idea. I don't even drink coffee because it messes with my stomach. I don't know how y'all do it. Anyways, today's topic is simply gonna be about Nipsey Hussle turning immortal. And now y'all are probably like, what the hell are you talking about? Let me explain here. Let me explain. So, I don't even know where to start. Yes, when he died, his overall main goal was to turn a god immortal. Not just die, but turn immortal. And I'm gonna be getting into the nitty-gritty about everything and why this happened. So let's get to it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, let's get into the jump. A lot of Freemasonry had to take place in this theory. And if you guys don't know what a Freemason is, I'm gonna actually look it up for Google for you, just so you can get like the perfect description.
Freemason.
Imagine I'm not saying it. A member of an international order established for mutual help and fellowship, which holds elaborate secret ceremonies. I'll read another one, if people didn't get that. Freemasons are a social and philanthropic organization, I don't know if I said that right, meant to make its members lead more virtuous and socially oriented lives. Says Margaret Drake, a professor of history at the University of California, Los Angeles, where all of them take place. A lot of the things. By the way, disclaimer, this is all a conspiracy theory. This is nothing factual. This is strictly conspiracy theory. So, can't get sued. None of the bullshit. Let's get to it. So he had a really big funeral. And I'm gonna explain a lot about, I'm gonna throw some clips in there, and then I'm gonna explain a lot about what his mom was talking about, what his sisters were talking about, and what some of his friends were talking about. Now let's talk about something called Spook Who Sat by the Door, which is somebody that Nipsey compares himself to. And mind you, this is a book, and the person in the book, the man, is somebody who infiltrated the CIA, which is why people made assumptions that he was an undercover Freemason. And in his interview with Charlemagne, he strictly said that he was very strict about what he was talking about and where he was coming from and who he mobilizes, which is the guy in the book, Spook by the Who Sat by the Door, right? So it's like, if he is very, harsh about, putting that out there, it makes you wonder. And he even said he's going to name his last album Spook Who Sat by the Door. Now, after studying Egyptian history and its parallels to Freemasonry, I'm convinced that they believe that with ritual magic and worship, they're able to access not only the realms where these Egyptian gods reside, but they're able to grant their power as well. Now, let's first talk about this funeral, and I'm going to sit here and talk about his mom and what his mom had to say. And I think she was the craziest one. Mom sits here and pulls out this paper, and it's an Egyptian ritual that she has to read, and even tells the audience to bear with her because she has never done this before. And if that's the case, why would she even do that in the first place? I'm going to spot you guys a little clip of what she tells the audience to say.
It's supposed to say Ashe. So we called on the answer, so say Ashe. And now I pour libations to the ancestors.
In ancient times, they used the word Ashe to invoke divine forces. Next, she says she will pour the libations to the ancestors. Now, libations, if I'm not mistaken, have arrived from Egypt, symbolizing an offer to a deity, which is a god, which was Osiris. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about Osiris. Osiris was originally the god of life until he's murdered, until his wife Isis brought him back to life, and then now he's the god of the underworld. After that happened, Isis gave birth to someone called Horus, which was the god of the sky, which protected and oversaw Egypt. Now, Horus is very important to this whole story. So remember the name Horus. Let's just talk about how they use Horus's eye in literally everything. If you look on social media of pop star artists, they use the symbol everywhere. People think it's the Illuminati, but I'm gonna explain that. Once you can grasp their goals through ancient occult worship, you will then understand the journey NIPSEY was on. Now, let's talk about the next thing that his mom is talking about, and it's called KSRT. Now, let's sit here and talk about the church that his mother sat here and promoted, called KSRT, And looking up the meaning, it meant the anointed one, which was actually applied to Horus. And she kept going along and dragging along how they taught like African and science and a whole bunch of spiritual stuff. And that's where she gains her strength from. And she sat here and told us that she wanted us to go back and tap into our roots and find out who we really are. And she was just basically getting real spiritual with us, and I understand why. Now, she sat here and said all of this because that she thinks that Horus was the true Jesus and that he's within all of us, right? And also, she sat here and said that she already knew her son was dead before she was even told physically, because the spirits already sat here and told her. While she was at the funeral, she mentioned that her and NIPSEY had these specific conversations before he passed, and a text saying that he was ready. What the fuck does that mean? Mind you, this was very close before he died. Now, this next part is very important to the whole ties. I hope you guys are understanding. So listen closely. We're gonna talk about the black and white checkered floors. Now, looking at the Egyptian symbolism in color, I found that black means underworld and white represented the power of God. Now, people were really quick to say that symbolism proved NIPSEY's ties with all of this, but it goes way deeper than that. When combining these black and white colors, could represent the power of Osiris, which is the god of the underworld, how I explained earlier. Now, it states during a 33, remember that number, a 33-degree ritual, they say, and I quote, "You have passed the square, for your rewards prepare, join heart and hand, wages to you are due at your command." Now let me explain. Basically, they believe that Osiris is the true god of the afterlife. And once fully committing to that and actually worshiping it, they then become Horus on earth, transforming into human into a god. It's also no coincidence that the Freemasons are called the widow's son. Now let me explain what a widow's son is. It stems from Osiris dying and Isis giving birth to Horus, which made Horus a widow's son. Found from the Book of the Dead in Egypt, Put your hand over your heart and to your God and say, my heart of my mother, my heart of transformation. And this simply means that Oris being transformed into a god couldn't have been without his moms. Now let's tie in Nipsey. First, his brand is the marathon checkerboard symbol. And he got it tatted right now, sir, which can indicate his journey in Freemasonry. That's one. And next we have his final album being called Victory Lap. Why would your last album be called Victory Lap? Like as if you knew something was gonna happen to you. And this is fine. It's probably his final initiation from being inside this court. And his last song was Right Hand to God in that album. I'm gonna sit here and put a clip about a specific guy telling you why he put Victory Lap as his title.
Word on why you chose Victory Lap for your album title.
That just the title represents like a moment in my life where I feel like I reached a lot of my life goals.
And this is exactly why his mother had to pour libations, which is, you know, the offer to the deities, plus saying Ashe to invoke that. The divine power of Oris into Nipsey as he completes his 33rd degree ritual. And let's just talk about, because Snoop Dogg actually sat here and said he got a letter from Obama, and Obama basically sat here and saw Nipsey's transformation. Which makes a lot of sense because one, Obama is higher power, so of course he'd be able to go and see that, which means that he knows, which means other higher powers know. And that's just simply no coincidence because all the ones in power are Freemasons. Let's go back to the funeral real quick. I wanted to point out that there was a lot of usage of purple and blue. Now in Egypt, purple symbolizes magic, mystery, and power, as for blue means rebirth. And this is why Oris was always depicted in blue, because the magic of his mother had him rebirthed to a god of the sky. And they would also paint pharaohs blue with the same godlike power. And it's also no coincidence that these Freemasons use the exact same colors on like everything. And mind you, let's talk about his nickname real quick. People named him Nipsey Blue. And even LeBron James tweeted to Crayola telling them to name the blue after Nipsey, which is pretty dope, I'll be honest. Prove even further, if you guys haven't believed me yet, that the elite want to achieve Oris's power, you know, becoming a god on earth. Let me show you something real quick. Now, you see this bell right here, the dollar bill. So you see, we're first gonna talk about the bird. You see that there's something above its head, plus below its feet, right? You see what he's holding. This is the 33rd degree emblem. How many times have I said the number 33? I can even show you the picture. That's the emblem itself. This actually all stems from Oris, who's actually depicted as a bird. So if you were to look him up, you'd see a lot of bird references. Also see this side, which everybody thinks is the Illuminati sign, but it's actually the Eye of Oris, right? So now you understand, it's not really about the Illuminati, I get it. That's more of like, you could say, a secretive group. But the eye is simply Oris's eye. The reason why they're the Illuminati, going back to what I said, because they want the power of Oris, which had that godlike power on Earth. That's the reason why everybody represents his eye, because everybody wants that power of Oris, correct? Cool. Now, and the reason why Oris is above Egypt, because remember, Oris was the god of the sky who oversaw Egypt. Oris was the god of the sky who oversaw Egypt. That's the reason why it's above the pyramid. You guys see? Even his sister sat here and said you were 33 when you were taken from this world, and it's not a coincidence. Wonder why. Understand what the number 33 represents. You have to understand Oris's power real quick. You must know, to achieve Oris's power, you have to allow what is known as a sacred secretion, produced at the bottom of your spine to rise, which meets the third eye, el pineal gland. Now this takes 30 days to rise and takes 3 more days before releasing, which includes the total number of 33. Now once it releases, it did not only hit your pineal gland, but it also hits your 12 cranial nerves, which illuminates all major functions in the body. And this also mirrors to Jesus' story, because Jesus lived for 33 days. Whoa. Jesus lived for 33 years, and he was also rebirthed after 3 days of death, where he then met his 12 disciples, 12 cranial nerves, 12 disciples, 33 years, 3 days after dying. You guys see the connections here? And then finally we see more confirmation in something called Jacob's ladder. Now let me explain that a little bit. In the story, he sets a ladder on earth and is able to reach God. And this ladder is also a symbol in Freemasonry, of course. The ladder is a symbolism of your 33 vertebrae in your spine that touches your pineal gland, reaching Oris's consciousness. Now, like I said, to end this off, it's very simple, and that's basically the ending. To have this happen, he would specifically need specific rituals and Respectfully, this knowledge has been kept for us for thousands of years, which is why the higher ups have this information. So what do you guys think? Like I said, this is all a conspiracy theory, but putting ties together, it's a, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got a little spooked out as well. Conspiracy theories every month is lit. Imagine your camera dying on you. Conspiracy theories every single month is lit. Hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I hope y'all liked it. Yeah, I had to put on a new fit. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. You already know the vibes. Next video, public interviews. Let's run it. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all.